Mm-hmm.
Are you spinning your?
Mm-hmm. I see basketball.
You kind of look like E.T.
Yeah. Look at this right here. Does that work? Hello, everybody.
Hello. Happy Friday, everyone.
My voice doesn't work so good.
No. Oh,
you
I may
guys
actually have a good weekend. Katie is sick. Not that I'm gonna have a good weekend because she's sick, but I mean,
she's trying to say it because I can't talk, but you know what? I'm going to talk anyway. She can't stop me from talking. It's just going to be kind of scratchy, okay, and maybe a little bit whiny. So
seriously, guys,
now that you show your true colors,
she has
get over it.
It's like the man flu because she was whined more in the last 36 hours with this cold than she ever did in the hospital for a week.
Yeah, no, I'm okay when I'm whiny. It was like last night. My sinuses were so clogged, and I'm like, I can't sleep if I can't breathe. And so then you have like this prescribed like nasal spray, but I think it must be because it's old because it was not working. And so I was just like, this is not going to work. But I found my Afrin or whatever that stuff is, and you know how like it's so powerful, like you use it, and then like 10 minutes later, it feels like when you breathe in, the air goes straight right to your brain. It's like there's cold air shooting right at your brain, and it kind of hurts a little bit, but at least you can breathe. Yeah, that's what's going on right now, guys.
I agree with you. It does happen a lot with flying because you're basically in a tin germ factory. But this one is probably my fault. I had a head cold that started right before we left for Oregon, and mine's pretty much mostly gone. And I think that she's just getting my cold now.
Yeah. Oh well.
Red Nickerson's always whiny. Well, you be careful there, grocery shopping naked.
Naked. You're gonna get arrested.
You're gonna get arrested, Red Nickerson, naked grocery shopping.
Yep. What's happening, guys? It's Friday. It's No Pants Friday. I didn't have our official theme song queued up because I just I'm still working on getting my new setup going. But I'm pretty excited because I finally got my little record player set up. It was probably like my main Christmas present from Vicky. But I had to get speakers and a receiver, so it's been a little while. Plus, after my accident, I wasn't really like in a place where I could like set up that stuff. But she just found me. Okay, you can probably stop leaning. But
okay, I was leaning so you could show off your.
You can lean the other way. Maybe you can see like that little silver receiver. Vicky scored that yesterday at one of the savers. It was only $14.99, and then 25% off of that. But then she looked it up and realized that she could probably sell it for like $200. So now I have to like figure out a way to booby trap my office so she can't get at it.
Oh no, I'm gonna sell it. She's gonna get a cheaper one.
I like it. It's really cool. Anyway, apparently it's only cool. Actually, I paid for it, so you cannot. It doesn't even belong to you. I paid for it.
I'll give you the $10.
Now that I think about it, no. I'll sell it to you.
For $10.
No. I'll sell it to you. It belongs to me. I purchased it at the store. So this just occurred to me.
Whatever.
I actually own it. So you just pointed it out to me and said, hey, here's a receiver. And then you were like, oh, and also, guys, by the way, I'm like, oh, yeah, I like it. And I'm holding it. And then she's like, well, I'm not going to buy it for you. That's what she did. She went, I'm not going to buy it for you. And I said, fine, I'll buy it myself. And now she's trying to say she's going to sell it. Actually, no, that's not going to happen because
what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine.
No,
how it works?
Hasn't happened yet. Yeah, Allison, possession is 9/10 of the law, and the other 10th is I paid for it, man. So 10/10 belongs to me, bitches.
I will find you a better one. No. I will find you a cheap one.
No. No. I paid for it. You're not selling it, man.
Seriously, Sherry's got it right. I'm going to take a few pictures of it when she's in the shower or something.
Yeah, and then I get the money because I bought it. I don't think you're figuring this out. What you're hearing what I'm saying.
It. Nope.
No, you didn't source it. You said, I'm not buying it for you. So if I would decide not to buy it, you wouldn't have even got, I'm not buying it.
Actually, I was going to buy it if you didn't want it.
You're a liar. You're a liar.
Yes, somebody get her a play school one.
No, Sherry. She's not getting it. She's not getting her hands on it. I love it. Anyway, my point is, I finally got this up, and then we stopped at Zia Records because I'm like, maybe I can find some speaker wire because that's the last thing I needed was the speaker wire to connect the speakers to the receiver. And so I go into Zia Records, And it literally, like I found there's an area where they actually have receivers there as well. Like they have a bunch of like used equipment that you can buy. And like on the shelf, they didn't have any new speaker wire. They literally had like one bundled up piece of old speaker wire that had like a bunch of tape around it, and it was just $1.99. And so I'm like, all right, apparently I'm getting
pretty much what you needed.
I'm getting my speaker wire. So I took it home, cut it in half, had to strip the wires, hooked it all up. And guys, I am in heaven because now I get to listen to all of my sweet, sweet soundtracks on vinyl right now. Rest of the show's over. I'm going to listen to The Omen, the 666 edition. It is a limited, hand-numbered record. That there were only 666 copies of it made. How excited are you? That's the devil's number. Not at all. That's the devil's number. Yeah, Sherry, it is. It's nothing fancy. It's like a beginner record player. So I'm sure someday I'll be like, I'm super into playing records. Now I gotta have some sort of fancy thing. But you know, whatever. It's just.
But the receiver's a nice one.
Yeah. That I paid $10 for, and it belongs to me.
Oh, Naomi, Vicky's from a different era. What?
Yeah.
4 years older than her. It is not a different era.
She's from a different era where you steal things. Apparently.
I am from the I don't give a shit about records era.
Not happening. Not happening. Anyway. Yeah, see, Allison, I'm just excited that I have a sweet receiver and I didn't have to pay $200 for it. So she's not getting it. She can say whatever she wants. She's not getting it. Is what punk? What's punk? I don't know what punk is, but
it's the soundtrack. It's movie soundtracks.
This particular The Omen is just it's a score. It's
from the 80s.
Yeah,
the horror movie.
Yeah, it's just like a score. It's Jerry Goldsmith, famous
Red Neckerson.
composer.
That's Foxy. Yes, you're right. That is Herman. That is Herman, my taxidermied fox that you can see there. He's actually for sale. So he's sitting on the ledge. That's the ledge for our loft. Mm-hmm. It's just because he takes up a lot of space. I don't want to put him in the garage where he can like fall over or bang up against something. So
he's just hanging out. Sherry, no, she can't play her Poison LPs. I'm gonna have to give her back her all-in-one record player so she can play her Poison downstairs, but she's not playing at my office, okay? Because that's disgusting.
And his name is Herman.
Yeah, his name is Herman. Jen, I do have a cat T-shirt that where the cat is wearing a Coogee sweater. Actually, I think that's one Dana gave me. I think whatever. Anyway, it's awesome, and it says the hustle is real, and he's got like a bunch of $100 bills, and it's pretty rad. Mm-hmm. But yes, I do indeed.
And I did fix Herman's ear. I glued it. Yep, mm-hmm. He looks real cute.
Yep.
Haven't sold him yet, but he's only been listed for less than a month. Taxidermy takes a while. My last one I think took almost a year to sell, but whatever. I have $60 invested. I think I'll probably sell them for close to 400. I'm okay with that.
Stephanie was listening to the Cher Greatest Hits record earlier.
I like Cher.
If I could turn back time, if I could find a way. My voice
that sounds great.
I know.
Dana and I actually went to go see Cher like a year and a half ago, and she put on a fan-frickin-tastic show. We went with our friend Jenny, and it was actually it was a really, really fantastic show. So it was let me tell you something. I don't look that good now, nor did I look that good when I was in my 20s. And that bitch is 70-something years old, and she looks fantastic. I don't care if she's all plastic. She looks good, and she's got an ass to die for. I don't know how she looks that good in her 70s, but she does. She was fantastic.
Yeah, seriously. Gypsies, tramps, and thieves. Hey guys, if you haven't watched our sourcing video from our Oregon trip last week, I just put it up yesterday. You should totally check it out. Binky, my sister, is getting all the love. I feel kind of bad because she's not going to be back on the channel for a while. But man, everybody's like loving Binky and wanting more of Binky, of the Binkster.
She's pretty funny.
It was pretty good. Anyway, guys, No Pants Friday. It's our AMA. Ask me anything. Ask us anything. Q&A, personal, business, whatever.
Oh, so we've got David, the car boot picker.
What?
Saw you both earlier with Barry. He's a friend of mine. Been subscribed to you both for over a year now. Keep up the good work. Well, thanks, David.
We like Barry. We actually went yesterday. We did our all-day sourcing day. Went to all the savers and stuff. And Barry, aka Afro Vintage on Instagram, He met
He's
up
like
with
our
us.
own personal sorcerer at this point.
Yeah, I thought it sounded like you were saying sorcerer.
Almost.
He's kind of magic with the heat. Anyway, it's great because he goes out and sources, and then he's really cool where he knows that, like, I've got my loop that I do for sourcing, so he'll just come show up before our first stop, and so it's great because it's really convenient. So we're out in like the Savers parking lot, like going through all the stuff, and we actually ended up buying it quite a bit, but I was pretty excited. Got some cool stuff. Got a 3D Emblem Harley t-shirt, which I'm stoked about, but we will be showing all of the highlights of the stuff that we found yesterday on Sunday's show, and we definitely found a lot of cool stuff. And our boxes showed up yesterday from Oregon, so we had like 85 pounds of merchandise to unpack. So it's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Cheryl wants to know, question, do you use Instagram for sales? Not well. Okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna say yes and no. No, because it's never happened. Nobody's bought anything from me on Instagram. Secondly, I do. So I have my Instagram. It's just Katie Zilverberg, and that's like my seller Instagram. So within the seller community, it's not to sell anything to buyers. And then I also have an Instagram for my eBay/Etsy stores, a boutique for him, and that one is the one that hypothetically I would like to be able to sell stuff on. I'm just not great at regularly posting stuff. I was getting it back into a little bit like last week. I need to really try and get stuff posted every day. I would like to be able to sell stuff. I put prices on there. It has yet to happen. So that's my very long answer.
I'm going to see how long I can sit here without saying anything so she can talk for 10 minutes at a time.
I don't believe you're really going to do that because you won't be able to resist. You like to talk too, woman.
No, I've never sold anything on Instagram. I use it to as part of my branding, but I also use it to interact with other resellers, and I definitely hashtag a lot of stuff. I've had some interest here and there, but I don't actually try to use it to sell anything. So I just use it as another means of communication. I only have one. Yeah. I use my my LV Pink Panther is business and personal, because that's kind of what you see is what you get. I'm not trying to separate the two.
Monique says, "What it do?" Welcome back to the show. Lori, I do not have any other siblings. It's just myself and the Binkster, Binky. Just the two of us.
And Sherry asked, has American Tourister jumped the shark? I don't know that it's ever been very mainstream. I will sell, do you mean like the cosmetic bags or hat cases?
She says bags. American Tourister bags.
I know what she's talking about. I don't know if you mean like suitcases or whatnot. Current American Tourister, I've never bothered to try and sell. I do sell like the vintage, like train cases, cosmetic bags, like the vintage ones. I haven't tried to sell any current ones, and they do sell, but like anything else vintage, it sits for a while sometimes.
Crossbody carry-on.
A crossbody carry. It may have jumped the shark. It may not be something, a crossbody carry-on. Wow. I don't know about that. I probably wouldn't pick that up. I don't really look for those. The cosmetic cases do sell. They just take a bit sometimes. They still sell. It's definitely for that train case, cosmetic case. It's more of a pinup thing than like somebody like, Mrs. Smith next door is not buying one to take on the train. People just buy them for makeup cases.
Why you gotta be all up in Mrs. Smith's biz? It's rude. Sherry was going to text you, but she didn't. You should just go ahead and text anytime you have a question.
You can text anytime.
It's easy. We like to answer questions. Valerie wants to know if I've watched Slobby's World on Netflix. No, I haven't. I know what it is. I just haven't watched it yet.
Haven't gotten around to it.
But I know what it is, and they're actually going to be opening a location here in Vegas. I don't know when it's happening. I think relatively soon.
And he's actually going to. Slobby Robbie is actually going to be here in Vegas at a pop-up event tomorrow that Barry is a part of.
Yeah, they were. He was just here like a few weeks ago, or like relatively recently. They're working on hiring people to work in the store that they're going to be opening. So
I'm sure we could get the deets and go hang out because they're doing a pop-up sales event at some guy's house. I got stuff to do. I've never seen the show.
Haven't watched the show. I'll totally watch the show. The problem with shows like that, like I watch a lot of TV while I'm working, but it's usually TV that I don't really have to pay attention to. What I found, like I don't watch YouTube videos. If I watch other sellers, I won't be able to focus on my work. I love watching Round 2, the show, on YouTube. I'm guessing it's somewhat similar to like Slobby's World stuff, except it's on YouTube. but it's, you know, the store, round two stores, and they buy stuff from people, bringing people coming off the street, selling streetwear that they've thrifted, and they sell it there too. So it's a really awesome show for like seeing like what is what's really cool right now, what's moving, what's fire. You know what I'm saying? I love watching that show, but I'm super behind on it because I can't watch it while I'm working. Because if I'm working, I gotta be looking at other stuff. And with shows like that, I want to be looking at the stuff that they're getting.
You need background stuff. Because I watch TV while I'm listening too, and it needs to be background stuff that I can just look up occasionally at.
Yeah. So I'll definitely watch it. I just need to watch it when I have time and I'm not working.
It might be our next series to watch.
Yeah. I don't think there's that many episodes, so we can probably get through it. Angie, are you talking about round two? So round two was an actual store, or it was originally a store that started in, I think it was in West Virginia or I don't know, or North Carolina. I can't remember exactly where the first store was. Sean Witherspoon is a dude who was really into vintage streetwear. So he started the store called Round Two, the first location, and basically he buys stuff from people and then resells it. So it's almost like his own personal Buffalo Exchange, but then it expanded and now he's got locations like all over the country. And I think he's even done some stuff over in like Paris and Japan, stuff like that. I don't know if he has actual stores there. Again, I haven't been kept up on the show. But on YouTube, if you look it up, it's called The Show Round Two. So just search The Show Round Two on YouTube, and it is like a television show. It's just on YouTube because they just like a few years ago, a guy started like filming, and it's sort of like a documentary ongoing series. So it's a really good show to watch to learn brands. Stop it.
Seriously, 10 minutes for every question.
Yes, the Roots.
I'll say 3 sentences.
Yes, the Roots went to the location in Florida. It's crazy. And you should also be following Sean Witherspoon on Instagram as well as Round Two. So just saying.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Florida Sunshine asked, do either of you have a bucket list? Well, who doesn't have a bucket list? I think everybody has a bucket list. If you do, what's one thing on it?
Just a bucket list in general?
Or is it a bucket list of things we want to find to sell? Or is it a bucket list of things we want to do? Or things we want to see? I don't know. One of my bucket lists is to visit Europe. I've never been to Europe, and we're actually going to do that next year for our honeymoon. I'm going to go to Italy. That's one of my bucket list things I'm going to cross off. David, it's David.
Hey, David. As far as travel goes, I mean, I have lots of stuff on my bucket list.
Travel.
I want to go. Unfortunately, ours are pretty different, and so like however, we're going to Italy for our honeymoon, and that was her choice. But then the next one after that, I think is gonna have to be my choice. I love traveling in like Southeast Asia and stuff, but I would love to go to Tokyo. I would love to go to like an African safari. I don't think she'd be down for that, but I like the stuff that's like way out of my element. That to me is more enticing and interesting. But I love like Southeast Asia and stuff like that. So Red Decorations resells his bucket list. The first is find a damn bucket. So I can hear you.
I've done a lot of like Mexico and Caribbean vacations, lots of different places in Mexico and places in Canada. And, you know, so I haven't done anything I've been to Puerto Rico. I haven't done anything too far outside of this country. You know, Puerto Rico's pretty close. Mexico's pretty close. Caribbean is pretty close. I've been to the Virgin Islands. I've done more of that kind of stuff, which I love. I love the beaches. I love water. So I like going to that and doing that kind of stuff, but I haven't done super long far away travel yet.
Yeah. Allison said Slavi's World is staged. Unfortunately, Round Two, the show is way better. Yeah, I love the show. I get like, a show like Slavi's World. I would assume. I mean, it's going to be like all those other shows, probably similar.
They're all staged.
Like what's the one that's here? The
Pawn Stars.
Pawn Stars. You know, even like I love Kevin Smith, and I like Comic Book Men, but all those shows are super staged because I mean for the content it's just easier. But
I've been contacted by the producers of Pawn Stars.
Whoa, what?
Not Porn Stars.
What?
Pawn PAWN. Pawn Stars, Gold and Silver Pawn. I've been contacted by them on 5 different occasions. I've been down to having all of my information sent over to them 3 times. And actually, they did use one of my items on one of the shows. If you look up antique, kind of Google the episode with the, what is it called? Astrological sphere. that was my item. I actually had it on consignment from a friend of mine in town, so I let him go on and do the show. Actually,
yeah. I mean, I get it. They're filming.
So,
it's like they need to have control
we knew
over
how
what the
much
content's
money
going to be.
we knew how much money they were going to give us beforehand. As a matter of fact, the expert they brought in used my description from my listing to talk about what the item was. Exactly, word for word, my written description that I get from my research.
Yeah.
So it was actually kind of funny. But even yes, that is my Rhode Island accent. That's how we say both of those words.
Even staged, it's like, you know, you're still going to see like what stuff people are into. But definitely go check out round 2 of the show. Also, you know, people love him or hate him. I really love watching Paul Cantu on YouTube. He's silly, and he's just a goofball. But the stuff that he thrifts is it's going to give you a really good idea of like the kind of stuff that people are into as far as streetwear goes. I enjoy watching him. I think he's fun. But he's goofy. So whatever.
No, it was not 444. They actually, I believe they paid 750 for it. And I split it 50-50 with the guy that I was consigning it with, my friend Jay. And he went in and did the show, and it was an all-day affair, and they filmed like 4 different endings, and but he had a good time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Favorite Caribbean island? Yeah. I don't know. I could say my favorite. As far as my favorite favorite place that I visited that is islandy or tropical, I actually really loved the U.S. Virgin Islands. I loved the island of St. John, which has been destroyed from the latest hurricane. So I don't know what it looks like anymore. But I was there 2 years ago, almost exactly. And it was the best vacation I've ever done. St. John, St. Thomas, St. Martin, and I loved all of it. So
see, I think you would enjoy going to Cambodia. I'm gonna take you there someday.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I think you'll have a good time.
And did they pay you to be on camera? They do not pay anybody to be on the show. You just get paid your item that they purchase from you. And
my grandma was on Antiques Roadshow.
Nice.
I remember back in the day when she used to still travel, she went to New York a couple times to be on that show. Because, you know, that's what grandmas like to do. My grandma's like the OG thrifter. She's awesome.
She's fun.
She's really cool.
We had fun visiting with grandma.
So one thing, have you seen her in the chat? I don't think so. I told her yeah. So she's Regs in the chat. Sandy, she's a local reseller here in Vegas. She came to our meetup this last Tuesday, and she hooked us up with this bag of. I'd never even heard of these Skittles before.
Maybe can you stop shaking them so people can see what they are.
I'm gonna show them in a second here. I'm getting to it. Shut your yap.
I haven't gotten 2 words in edgewise yet. Relax.
Shut your yap. You're talking too much. Anyway, I haven't seen these before, so they're called Sweet Heat Skittles. Okay, that's right. They're spicy Skittles.
I don't know what that means.
Do you know what spicy means?
I do, but I don't understand how you make fruity.
Do you know what heat means?
Spicy.
Have you ever had like chocolate bars and they put like chilies in them?
Yeah.
Anyway,
kinda.
We're gonna try it out. So I think this should be like a new thing that we do on Fridays. But you know, as long people can send us treats. I mean, this is really
here. She's just lurking.
There we go. This is just a way for us to get free treats. Basically, is the new Friday segment. So hopefully something shows up this week. But
I have a friend that is a DJ in Rhode Island. His name's Tom. He watches the show occasionally because he's starting his reselling career as well as a comedian and a DJ. And he does New Food Fridays. He does a whole shtick.
Okay.
Where he tries new
I'll
things
do a shtick where I put something in my mouth.
We can't call it New Food Friday, but we could steal a little bit of the idea from Tom, and I'll give him full credit for it. Tom Stewart, find him. He's good.
How about stuff it in Mama Friday? How about that? No. Okay. So anyway, it's a sweet heat, fruity flavors with a spicy kick. We're gonna try them out. I don't know how well my taster is gonna work because I'm pretty congested right now. But
how about I touch you first so I don't get sick again?
You're not gonna get sick. Okay, you're stuck with me, so you're either gonna get sick or you're not gonna get sick. Now I have a thing about flavors. There's 5 different flavors. There's lemon spark, flamin' orange, sizzling strawberry, fiery watermelon, and blazing mango. Now there's a couple flavors in here that I don't do. One is strawberry, the other is watermelon, but there's 3 that I do. So let's try these out. Let's see how they are. Maybe these will clear up my sinuses. I don't know. You don't know. What do you think? You want to try them? We got. So this is definitely lemon. You're going strawberry. This is definitely lemon.
I want the
watermelon one.
This was watermelon, not cherry, not strawberry.
Lemon.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It takes a couple of chews, and then all of a sudden,
like you're chewing it, and it's like a normal lemon one, and then it gets a little spicy. I like it. I'm into it. All right, I'm gonna try flaming orange. This is gonna be flaming orange right here, I think.
Come here, Dana. Dana's here taking pictures.
Mm-hmm. Which one's the mango?
I'm gonna say that.
What'd you say?
Mango is disgusting.
I think this is probably mango right here.
I don't know.
Which one's gonna be watermelon? Hold on.
I can't tell.
I haven't touched any of these.
I did, but I don't have the HIV.
I think it's that darker one. What do you think?
This is watermelon.
Oh yeah, it's mango.
They're weird.
I like them. So you chew them, they taste like Skittles, or they taste like, candy. And then after a while, it starts.
No spice and watermelon at all.
Oh.
Yeah, there is.
You gotta wait for it. It's like at the very, it's like they got it at the very center or something, and then it kind of like expands out. They're actually pretty good. I like them.
They're good. Good call, Sandy.
Oh yeah.
I would try these again.
So my review of the Sweet Heat Skits is they're delicious as long as it's not strawberry or watermelon.
Is there an orange one?
Yes, there's an orange one. Yeah. It's pretty good, guys. Pretty good. Yum, 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 yum.
Yeah, I think you should try these. If you like spicy and you like sweet,
they're pretty yummy. Good call, Sandy. Thank you so much for
hit me right in the back of the throat. No, I don't need the hiney
sure?
lick.
Did you say the hiney lick? Why are you so inappropriate today? You're talking about all kinds of inappropriate things.
Totally cleansed my palate with my Diet Pepsi. So healthy.
Your hiney lick, 12 years old.
Yep. All right, do we have more questions in here? I'm sorry. See, Stephanie says Georgia Pollen has her all stuffed up.
How do you get your pictures from your phone? This is Mo, I'm assuming. To your laptop. Can it be done by Bluetooth? You shouldn't have to do Bluetooth or USB. Depending on what phone you have, you should be able to automatically sync it. Now, I sync all of mine to my Google Photos. So that's like an automatic, like once you set it up, it automatically does it for you. You can do it by USB, but it's overkill. If you have a newish, I mean, even if your phone's a few years old, it should automatically, it's doing it through Wi-Fi, not through Bluetooth. So it should be fine. So like my phone, I have to be on the Wi-Fi, and then it'll sync my Google Photos.
Upload.
Yep. So
I don't know how I set it up the first time though.
Well, I set it up for
you.
you.
Sandra said mine is synced to Google. Yeah, mine too. So it just syncs to Google
so it
Photos.
syncs to Google. Then when you're on your computer ready to list, you just open it for Google Photos, and all your pictures are right there.
And you can do like Katie does. She does drag and drop, or you can download them into a folder like I do.
Yeah. I like to do mine one item at a time. So like I've got two screens up. So I have one screen that has my Google Photos opened. And so let's say I'm working on, like right now, I'm working on like a particular t-shirt on my list. First of all, I have everything in my notebook. And so it's all in the same order as my photos are. So it's really easy to go in order. So I will have like a window open over here that's just for my eBay pictures for that particular item. So it's completely empty. And then I will just drag and drop 5 times, however many pictures it is. Takes me like 3 seconds. Drop. And then when I'm doing my listing, I upload, and then I delete all those photos and go on to the next one. She brings them all over at the same time.
You should be able to do that. Okay, so you have a Samsung 8. So you should be able to just keep your Wi-Fi on, and it should automatically upload to Google Google Photos, because Google Photos is your mainframe for your Samsung to begin with. So you automatically have a Google account because you have a Samsung. It's created at the same time.
Yeah.
So if they're not uploading automatically, what you can do is you can go into your photos, and you can like click on them and hit share. And then you can share to there's a little icon that for Google Photos, and you can share, and they'll upload that way too, but you need to have your Wi-Fi on.
Jen wants to know, do you guys keep any pics, or do you delete them after listing? I keep mine, and there's been times when that's been really helpful. But they're all in my Google Photos. They are in the cloud, and Mrs. B 530 says Dropbox could also be an option. Same diff.
Dropbox does tend to run out of space over time.
Cloud.
unless you've paid for it, the paid for version. I delete all my photos as soon as my item is listed. I don't have them on my computer or on my Google Photos or my phone, where they're on my phone for a little bit, and then when I have time, I'll sit down and delete a bunch at a time.
Yeah. Sunny, I don't know if we saw your message. What was you might need to repeat it. So you trying to throw candy around?
Yeah.
I think that's a gross one that I don't want. Yeah, if you have the space, keep. I mean, you don't have to, but I mean, it's come in handy before, and at some point, I'll probably go through. And
really, the only time it's going to come in handy is when you lose, when eBay loses photos like they did last year, and that has only ever happened one time in all my years on eBay. So I've never needed to go and find photos.
Yeah, I don't know. There's been a few other times that it's come in handy for me. So,
Sonny, I did not see your question, honey.
Yeah, you're gonna have to repeat it, please.
Let's see. What do we have here? Well, I hate multi-variation listings.
Yeah, bring on the questions. Bring on the questions.
Yeah, Susie, it makes sense for you to save
yeah
photos if you sell a lot of new stuff, because then you can go back and use the same photos for the same things if you find them again. So that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Mo, totally. Find a 12-year-old to help you, because I'm telling you, that's the best kind.
All I know is I just got something that came back. It was an international order that came back, and it was from like 5 months ago. The person did not pay the they didn't pay the customs fee. It came back to me. They never contacted me. I don't even know who they are at this point. And so I wanted to relist this jacket, and I was able to just go back and find the pictures in my back picture. So I didn't have to take any new pictures at all. It was awesome. So comes in handy.
And Kelly Ecom Mom says, load the pictures up to the cloud. The cloud is if you have an iPhone, but
I mean,
it works both ways.
But the cloud in general, the cloud is just not your computer. So the Google is the cloud, Dropbox is the cloud. Anything where you're keeping it and it's not being kept on your computer at home, you're putting it into the cloud. So however you want to do that. Sandra wants to know where I got my ET t-shirt. I thrifted it, but it's pretty friggin' dope, isn't it? It's one of my favorite t-shirts. She tried to tell me like, oh, that t-shirt's really played out. It's getting a hole in it. And that's my
She wears it a lot.
And I'm like, yeah, because it's the most amazing t-shirt that has ever lived. It might be my favorite t-shirt I have completely, because I love ET and I think it's a rad shirt, and it speaks to me on a lot of different levels in ways that you never could.
I'm lacking.
Sorry, Sandra, if I knew where it was, I would get you one. I'd send it to you, but I don't know.
Let's see. Another question here. Anyone know how wide the base is on the ring light by chance? It's got those tripod spreadable legs. So I would say it probably takes up about 12 to 14.
Well, you can adjust it if that's an issue.
Yeah, 12 to 14 inches all around.
Yeah, because it's one of those ones where they go out, and so depending on how you can stand it up so that they're in tighter, or like they're spread out more for more stability. But yeah.
Let's see.
Joe Jones, E.T. was the last movie I saw at a drive-in theater. Like when it originally came out. What's mine? What is the last movie I saw? It might have been like a Shrek movie or something weird like that.
It is not as wide as the Umbrella. They only had one drive-in movie theater in Rhode Island, and it was pretty much already closed by the time E.T. came out in the 80s.
I love the drive-in theaters. Though I remember going to see Tremors when it came out back in the day at the drive-in. Good times.
Let's see what else we have. Red Hill Vintage. Bought vintage bedding, still in package. Dilemma: open to properly take pics or keep in package and describe as best as possible. Keep it in the package.
It's vintage.
A lot of people that buy vintage items, and I sell it, and I know it's difficult to get it in the bed. Just describe as best as possible. Take good, clear photos of the pattern if possible, of the picture on the package. Sometimes the picture on vintage will have a picture of the item like on a bed, so you can see what the pattern looks like. But definitely keep it in the package. When you're talking vintage, you don't ever want to take something out of a package, because some of the value is in the packaging itself in some cases.
Junk Jones, I'm more surprised that E.T. was the last movie you saw at a drive-in, because that was forever ago, and I've gone to the last time I went to the drive-in was probably like 2008, 2009. And so I did see E.T. in the theater. I didn't see it at the drive-in, but I saw it in the theater. But I was a little bit. I was only 3 years old, so actually,
I was actually going to say E.T. was my very first movie in a movie theater. I was 7 or 8. It was 1983.
It scared me a lot because I was only 3 years old, and
the guys in the spacesuits were scary.
That wasn't the scary part.
Was scary
when E.T. was sick. That was the scary part for me. I also remember seeing the second Star Wars movie. Which one is that? The one's Empire Strikes Back. And that one was super scary because I remember going to the bathroom at the Star Cinema in Staten and thinking that Darth Vader was going to come out of the bathroom and get me. So
let's see. Question. Grandma Cheap found the Billy Bass musical wall mount without the power cord, tested it with batteries, and it works. I have listed one without the cord. Just put down that you tested it with batteries and you don't have the cord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. David, do we have a wedding date for October? It will be October 5th. And will it be online for us on the East Coast to see? Probably not online. We're definitely not going to do it live or anything like that. But I am sure that we'll have somebody record it and then we'll post it for you guys. Because we have a lot of friends and family that are not going to be there that'll probably want to see it. So,
hey Noelle, Jen, first horror movie, first concert. My first horror movie, technically, I saw Night of the Living Dead through my grandparents' bedroom door. My dad was watching it in the living room. But my first one that I actually watched was when I was 7, and I watched Return of the Living Dead, the 1986 movie. It was awesome. It scared the crap out of me. But that, I think, is what started my true obsession with zombies. First concert, my first concert was New Kids on the Block. My first live performance of somebody big was actually Johnny Cash and June Carter at the Billy Graham Crusade in Portland. So that's way cooler to say than New Kids on the Block. But
yeah,
it wasn't.
Go with Johnny Cash.
But it wasn't
just don't say that it was at a Billy Graham Crusade. You're fine.
But it wasn't like their concert. It was just that they performed a few songs, and it was pretty cool. My third was Herman's Hermits, and that was also dope. So.
All right, can I answer the question, or are you going to keep going?
I'm done now. You may go.
All right. First horror movie was
wait. Your first what? Your first horror movie.
I am from Rhode Island, and that is how we speak.
That's our first
Get over it.
Horror movie. It was horrible.
My first horror movie was probably Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or it was definitely all those 80s movies. Friday the 13th. I watched all of those movies, even though Texas Chainsaw Massacre was 1978, I think. But I saw it in the 80s. I went through a phase in 85 where I started watching all the horror movies. So 85 to 90, I was watching all of them with my girlfriends when I was a kid. I was 10 to 12. First concert was Jack Wagner when I was 10. I was 10 years old. Jack Wagner. I saw the Jets. I saw the Mamas and the Papas, post Mama Cass. And I saw Peter, Paul, and Mary. So those were all when I was 10. And then by the time I was 12, my first concert that I chose to go to, that I went to go see, my first concert was my favorite group, which was Poison. And it was Poison with Trickster and Rat opening for them.
Your answer was really long.
Bite me.
Saddest movie saw alone in the theater. Not Ordinary People, although I do think that's a great movie, but I did not see that in the theater. I would say, do you remember that movie Marley and Me that came out probably 10 years ago? I saw that when I was going to grad school in New York, so I would go a lot to the theater. There was one particular theater where I was real naughty, guys. There was one particular AMC theater where in Manhattan, where you paid and then you went up an escalator, and then nobody checked. Once you went to the bottom of the escalator, they would check your ticket. Nobody would check, and all the theaters were upstairs. And so I would go in the morning and then just stay all day and just watch movies. And I remember going to see that movie, and I was by myself, and I was sobbing. I was bawling.
They played Marley and Me on the airplane when I was flying back from California, and all you could hear on the entire plane was everybody was sobbing watching the whole thing. It was pretty pathetic. I've never been to a movie by myself, so I can't answer that question.
That's so crazy to me.
I've never seen a movie by myself.
I've gone to so many movies by myself.
Not in a theater. I've just never seen a movie by myself in a theater.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually had to do the trick where I had to look off screen because I couldn't look direct because it like helped me not to sob so loudly. But I do remember in high school going to see the movie White Squall. They went to see the movie White Squall. It came out in the 90s. And I remember going with my friend Jen and her mom. And there's a really sad part in that movie. And I remember Jen was sobbing, like audibly sobbing.
Mm-hmm. I've done that. The whole ugly cry. Trevor the Reseller, ugly cry in the movie theater. I have done that. I can't remember what movie it was, but I've done that more than once for sure.
Mm-hmm. Very good, very good, very good.
What other questions are there? Scroll back up.
Lots of movie questions. I don't know if there's any more. But Grandma Cheap Cheap enjoyed the shopping trip and enjoyed meeting Binky. I think it's just lots of people talking about movies and concerts. But yeah, I used to watch a lot of horror movies when I was a kid. I had a couple of friends, my friend Kinsey, who we got to hang out with back in Oregon. We were reminiscing about how Kinsey would come over and we'd go rent like a whole bunch of horror movies all on, VHS. We have our stack of VHS, and their whole plan would be to stay up all night until the sun came up. And she would always fall asleep in the middle of it, and I'd be the one to like stay up all the way to the end.
Oh, I did cry in A Star Is Born. I did, but I kind of knew what was going to happen. So
don't spoil it. Some people might not have seen it yet.
Well, if you've seen the other ones,
I know, but there's a lot of people who haven't seen the OG.
And Jen, I have seen if you name the 80s rock band, I have probably seen them, met them, and may know them at this point. It's not that big of a deal anymore, but it was when I was a kid.
No big deal,
if my 13-year-old self could have known my 35-year-old self when it would have been huge.
I haven't seen How to Train Your Dragon 2. I saw the first one. I really liked it.
Oh, Pay It Forward. Yes, that was one. That was an ugly cry one for sure. Let me see.
Dance in the Dark. That to me is the most depressing movie ever. Really, really good with Bjork, but super, super sad.
I don't think I know that one.
And that one, I watched that at home. But I remember I was living back at home with my parents, and I remember coming down the stairs sobbing and telling my mom, like, don't ever watch this movie. You will cry.
Nate, Terapeak does not come out until mid-April. It's going to be free for anything basic store and higher. It should start in mid-April for everybody here. I have used. He's asking, have you used Terapeak in your stores yet? The free subscription comes out middle of April. Everyone's going to have access to it. But I have had Terapeak, or I actually just got rid of Terapeak about 7 months ago, maybe not even that long ago. I had Terapeak for more than 10 years, a paid subscription, and I love it, and I'm super excited. I actually got rid of it because when eBay purchased it, it actually changed on the site itself, and it wasn't the Terapeak that I knew and loved, so I wasn't willing to pay for the subscription anymore. But the fact that now that eBay has purchased it, and I knew this is what was going to happen, that's why they purchased it. They were eventually going to make it a product for their sellers and integrate it. The fact that it is now going to be integrated and made as a free bonus for store subscribers, I'm super psyched about it because it's a great tool.
Miss Florida Sunshine, never fallen asleep. I'm not a fall asleep kind of person. Like I have to decide, okay, I'm going to sleep now. I'm not somebody who like nods off and falls asleep in public. So no.
I have never actually fallen asleep in public in my life. I can't even sleep on a plane.
Yeah.
So even when I want to.
Rebecca, Ghost is a very sad movie.
Oh, Ghost is right up there. Oh, and I saw that passed away. Yeah, that's Ghost. Ghost was an ugly crime movie the first time for sure.
Traveling Reseller. I do remember Silent Night, Deadly Night. I love that movie. It's like one of my favorite Christmas movies ever. And yes, I remember the antler scene. And yeah.
Oh, City of Angels. That's another one, Nate. Ugh, the first time I saw that one. Yep, ugly cry.
That is, I will say the City of Angels is actually a guilty pleasure of mine because I think it's a terrible, terrible, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous movie. It's a remake of an amazing foreign film. But I enjoy it, and I enjoy watching it and sobbing to it. It is very, it's one of those ones where if you want to have a good cry, watch it, even though it's ridiculous and pretty stupid. So
yeah, Steel Magnolias, all those. I'm a sucker for all those sappy movies.
Yeah. I collected horror movies on VHS, and then I switched over to DVD, and then I switched over to Blu-ray. So I kind of went along with, you know, as they changed. I just never did Laserdisc. So yeah.
Ooh, Cheryl just opened my store today. I'm so excited. Yay! Congrats.
Yay! Awesome.
Happy new store.
Yep, for sure. All right. Any other questions, guys? Any more? Ooh, My Bloody Valentine. That's a really good movie. And Tales from the Dark Side. I have the soundtrack for that on vinyl. I love Tales from the Dark Side of the movie. It's very good. Anyway, any other questions? Anybody have any more business questions? I mean, you can continue asking us.
DJ asks, what is
questions as much as you
TerraPeak?
want.
TerraPeak is a tool that takes 12 months of data, eBay data now. It used to do more than just eBay, I believe, but 12 months of eBay data and will collate sales. So it'll tell you how many items have sold, what the sell-through rate is, what the best day of you should sell something, what the average sale price is, what the percentage of the ratio of closing is, what whether it sells higher, whether it's been a buy it now or a store purchase, buy it now or auction purchase. It's 12 months of data. So if you're looking at your solds and you're looking at comps in the same way that you do now, you get 60 to 90 days, I believe, on eBay now. You will get an entire year of history with much more detail with TerraPeak. It's actually phenomenal for people that sell one-offs. It's not going to be the best thing for clothing sellers, because I think if you do clothing, you kind of just know, unless it's something weird, what an average.
I mean, I use those kinds of things because when you're selling things that are more collectible, that it does matter. So like concert tees and stuff like that, stuff that maybe there's not.
I said rare. You didn't let me finish my sentence.
I did. I heard. I heard what you said. Like I use WorthPoint every day, even if it's not always the best. Doesn't always have the best history in it, but.
When you open a second store, does PayPal hold funds like a new store? Linda, I don't know. I do have a second store, but I very rarely use it. I actually use it just to list my rated X stuff, and they've never held my funds, but
it shouldn't, because it's PayPal.
It should be linked to your same.
It's PayPal holding your fees, not
information,
or your money, not eBay. PayPal's doing it. So if you have an established PayPal, it shouldn't matter if it's a new store or not, as far as I know, because it's just the money's just going to your established PayPal account that's been there for however long. So I don't believe it should make any difference.
Noelle, I'm not sure what your question means. Can you talk about how to organically choose the categories from eBay when making a listing? Starting to totally frustrate me. I'm not sure what you mean. I guess it just means on like how to choose the categories in general. What you want to do is look and see what category has the most items for that thing that you're listing. Like, I mean, men's jeans, it's pretty standard. Figure that out. Men's t-shirts, that's pretty standard. You want to look and see what category has the most items in it that for your whatever it is that you're selling. That's the category you want to go with.
Yeah, WorthPoint's not free. For what I use it for, it's $20 a month. Personally,
it's anywhere from $20 to $40 a month for a subscription.
The 40 is if you want to be able to see, like, it has this whole part where it's like it knows markings and stuff like that. So for like
yes, for like people that are doing like China and pottery.
Yes, which I don't do any of that. And so for me, I just do the $20 version. And I like I said, I do use it every day. So I think it's worth it, but it just depends on.
I love WorthPoint.
It's for vintage stuff.
WorthPoint is only for vintage, antique, or collectible items. It is not for your everyday items. So if that's all, if you don't sell a lot of vintage, antique, or collectible, there is no value in it for you.
Right.
You have to sell. I mean, and I mean more than like one every few months, because obviously that's not going to make sense. But if you focus primarily on vintage, collectible, or antique items, WorthPoint is far better than TerraPeak because it goes back farther than a year.
Yeah.
And it goes back, when you're looking at rare or antique items, there may not be one to find or two to find in the past year on eBay. There may be something that sold 5 years ago, and it's really a hard time trying to find the value of something, or even what it's really called or what it really does. So WorthPoint actually is a wealth of information for that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's primarily what I used to sell when I started. I sold only antiques and collectibles. So WorthPoint is fantastic for that.
It does work for clothing, but again, it's only vintage. So they only draw from vintage categories on eBay. So for instance, when I list, like I do my t-shirts, I do use 2 categories. So they do get listed in vintage. But like any jackets that I sell are vintage, I don't put them in the vintage category, so they don't show up in WorthPoint. So it's not super complete because it goes by those categories. But again, when I find stuff that's more rare, I like to be able to look at WorthPoint and see what stuff sold for over the last few years. So.
Right, correct. Junk Jones, if it goes back too far, the value may have come down. It may have come down or it may have gone up. So you're right. Worth point is very helpful for that type of thing. You know, and Terapeak, if it's something that is more common and easy to find, Terapeak is a better gauge of value because if it's something that you have 50 of over the past year, Terapeak is going to give you real-time value. Where Worth point, if you're finding it 5 years ago, it's not the same thing. So it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah.
So let me see.
What's going on? Why are you
I'm trying
stealing
to
my
find
armrest,
it's
man?
been there and you just moved and put your arm there.
Linda Kroom just busted out a $5 super chat. Says that she's trying to get to Savers. She's in the Laughlin area and there's nothing there.
No, there is a Goodwill in the other side of the river. So in the Arizona side, when you leave Laughlin, there is a Goodwill, and that's about it. There's nothing down there because I have thrifted in that area.
But let me just say, super chat, she's super chatty. Yow.
Stop it.
Anyway.
All right, there was another question. Go back up for a second.
Where?
Who's always on time and who's always late? We're both very punctual.
Yeah.
Actually. So,
I like to get to places that I need to be in.
As far as whoever takes the longest to get ready, her. She takes longer to get ready.
I take however long I'm going to take. But if I wanted to get ready fast, I can. I just don't like. I don't like rushing.
For somebody that wears a hat, wears minimal makeup, but she does wear makeup. Where I've got to blow dry my hair, curl it, all this other crap. She takes longer to get ready than I do. It's weird.
But that's because I don't like to rush.
Okay.
So there's been plenty of times where if I have 7 minutes to shower and be out the door, it's like I can make it happen. And you've said before, like, well, you're already ready. So it's like I can make it happen. I just don't like rushing. So
do you keep your promoted listing campaign going continuously, or do you ever stop them and start a new one? You know, Jen, for me, I kind of think there are different theories on that. I don't keep them forever. I do keep them for a couple of months and then I tend to end them and then restart them all. So whether they get stale or not, I don't really know. I do tend to see a bump when I restart them. So it could be all in my mind, or it may actually have some validity to it. It's one of those things we don't really know.
Red Hill Vintage is asking the real questions. Do you agree that the Hawaiians ruin pizza with pineapple? You know what, Red Hill Vintage? I do agree. And I'm disgusted that they would do this to us, okay? Yeah, they've got other food that's delicious, but they're putting pineapple on pizza? What is wrong with you, you monster? And here's the problem. If you have a pizza and it's got olives on it and you're not really into olives, you know what? You pick those olives off, pizza's okay, you eat it. You have a pizza that's got pineapple on it, you can't pick that pineapple off. Because you know what? There's pineapple juice all over the pizza, and it's ruined, and you can't eat it, and it's disgusting. So thanks a lot, Hawaiians.
All right, seriously.
See, there you go.
So he's fixed. I fixed Herman's ear. It's not droopy anymore.
So he does.
He looks a little sad. Poor Herman.
Yeah.
But yep, he's fixed.
Susie says that she's ordering a Hawaiian pizza right now. Good, eat it. Be by yourself and eat it and get out of my face.
Oh, Jesus.
Did you just almost like face plant?
I almost face planted.
All right.
Cords and
I
all
saved
kinds
your
of
life.
crap over here.
I just saved your life. Anyway.
He does look depressed, the poor thing.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Okay, Cheryl. Are all single stitch shirts vintage and will they all be made in the US? Okay, short answer, no. Slightly longer answer, single stitch is generally going to be vintage. There are times when there are some companies who will do like a single stitch because it's sort of they want to make it look kind of retro or like a cooler looking t-shirt. But usually with those, it'll be like a really, if you'll notice, the thread will be a little darker. It'll be a really obvious single stitch as opposed to just regular. But generally, if it's single stitch, it's a really good indication that it is vintage. However, I've seen plenty of t-shirts from the 80s that are double stitched. So just because something's double stitched does not mean that it's not vintage.
The the long answer is there is no definitive answer for it.
But I'm giving the long answer. And as far as made in the US goes, again, US is more likely to be vintage.
But
however,
not necessarily.
There's stuff from the 80s that will be made in other countries. There's stuff from the 90s that will be made in other countries. It's just, they're all indicators. So single stitch made in the US, more of an indicator than a rule.
And there are still companies that make things in the US. Not many.
Yes, not a lot,
not
but
many,
some.
but still some.
So for instance, like American Apparel, which they're out of business now, but they always made their stuff in the US and not.
And that's why they're probably out of business.
Yeah, maybe so.
Scroll back up for a minute. There are some other questions there for Angie. I am selling him for about 400 or best offer. Let's see. Jackie asked, should I have a separate store for my adult stuff? Not necessarily. That's entirely up to you. I actually started a separate store, and you have to put things in the adult categories, of course, if applicable. I started a separate store because I was afraid. I used to do a lot of consignment, and I had consignment clients that were all elderly women that had been referred to me by my neighbor. And I was selling Fitz and Floyd and all kinds of Lalique and all things like that. And I was afraid that they would go in my store to double check their listings and find Fisting Floyd or something. I don't know. So I didn't want to have them in the same.
This show is something special for you today, isn't it?
I didn't want to have them in the same store. I didn't want them to fall on anything that was disturbing. So I put everything in the second store for that.
All right. So Linda wants to know, Linda says, I've always done free shipping and thinking of charging. What say you?
I generally do free shipping. So I charge shipping, and I've just started doing that actually in the past couple of months. I charge shipping on some of my super heavy items, kind of like the knitting machines and things that I showed. They weigh 50 pounds. I charge shipping because the reality is I just put a flat fee in there. I put $80 for shipping because it was going to cost about $100 to ship it across the country. And I actually ended up shipping it one state over, and it cost me $30. So I made a little bit of money there. But
how many knitting machines are there? If somebody Googles knitting machine, how many do they have to choose from? Are there 1,000 listed?
No.
Are there 5?
No, there's like 4 or 5.
Okay, yeah, so it doesn't matter. So the thing with free shipping, here's a couple of things. So really, no, shipping is never free. So either you're paying for it, either way, you're passing the cost along to your buyer.
Right.
Whether you're charging shipping or you're building it into your cost. So I personally think if it's a lighter thing, if you can send it first class, if you can send it at the very least first class and padded flat rate, I think it's better to build the cost into the price of your item, because for a couple of reasons. One, there are some buyers who will hit the little box that says free shipping. And in that case, if you charge shipping, they won't see your listings at all. So that's one thing. The second thing is that eBay likes you to do free shipping. And so it is one of the many factors that will push your item up in the search. Does that mean if you have free shipping, yours is going to be the top? No, because there's a whole bunch of other things that are going to contribute to it. So in my opinion, I want to do everything possible to push my stuff up, because for one thing, I charge more than most people. So that's one thing that I don't have, that other people might have like a little bit of an edge on me because they're charging lower prices, and sometimes that can push them up in the search. So I want everything possible to help me in my search results.
Kara, do I refund shipping if it's over a certain amount? I don't, because the reality is I only charge shipping on maybe 10 items out of 2,500 in my store. So no, I don't.
Generally, no. I have a couple of times, only because it's been an international sale where the difference in shipping ended up being so huge that I did like a partial refund. I didn't like refund all of it necessarily. But no.
And Red Hill Vintage, your racy items, those sound fine. Topless model on the beach thing, I would just put Post-it notes over her boobs. And the mug on the beach, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Just don't have the bathing suit shot with the hot water or the cold water added. Don't have that be your first photo. Those don't need to go into adults. The things that I have in adult are not things that can be sold on regular eBay. So there's no promoted listings in the adult category. Everybody charges shipping and you don't do refunds. So that's part of it. Nate asked, does adults sell well? It has. I've sold several $1,000s, but it's all vintage what I sell. So it's like vintage porn. Let's call it what it is. So it's magazines or catalogs or movies. And by vintage, I mean 80s and earlier. I don't have anything current at all. So the older stuff is people buy for collections or nostalgia reasons and things like that. So it does sell, and it sells well.
Yeah. Noelle, I mean, I totally hear you on you do what you want. I mean, it's the same thing. Like I was saying with price, a lot of times they'll talk about search results and stuff like that. And they'll say, one of the things they'll talk about is competitive pricing. And I'm sorry, I don't do competitive pricing, and that's my choice. But because of that, I want every other area to be like dialed in and doing the most I can to help boost me in the search.
Old candid snapshots with nudity you can sell because it's considered artistic. Same thing with what Jen is asking. That's considered art. That's just considered nude art. The sketches and things like that. That's perfectly fine to sell on regular eBay. There are categories for nudes, charcoal, and pencil drawings, and vintage candid snapshots with nudity. Depends on how explicit the nudity is. So if it's just something like a silhouette or something that's topless, you can generally get away with selling that in regular eBay. If it's, hardcore, photos, those need to go in the 18+ category.
Yeah. I mean, Adam's exploits, padded flat rate. I mean, the supplies are free, so it shouldn't cost you more than $7.55 at the most to send a padded flat rate. But again, you just add that into your price. Like, there really is no difference between charging $10 plus $8 shipping or charging $8 with free shipping or $18 with free shipping. There's zero difference. Like, you are getting the same amount of money from your buyer. So I guess I just don't really understand like the resistance to it on lower price. Like the stuff, like I get it with super heavy stuff, it's going to cost a lot to ship. Especially when you're talking about something where there's literally 5 listings of it. And if somebody searches knitting machines, do you really care where you are in the search because you're going to be on the same page?
Junk Jones, I would put that in the adult category, and if they're real close to looking 18 or not, I wouldn't even sell it, to be honest.
Yeah, if you're questioning it, then
if you're questioning the age, I wouldn't even. That's a risk I'm not willing to take.
Yeah.
Susie, where should I sell my awkward naked family photos? And if the sketches are explicit, again, you should sell them 18+ category. You don't need a separate store. You have to it's real hard to find the adult only category on eBay. You have to click through a lot of things. It's under everything else. And then you have to click through 3 times or so to say that you're over 18 to even be there to see the items. So, and I sell all of my listings from that particular store are sold as private. Yeah. So my buyer does not get the feedback to show what it is. But again, I only have about 20 listings in that store right now. So, and I hadn't had anything in there for over a year. I just re-put everything in there last week. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, we're running out of time now because we're trying to keep these down to an hour. Yes. And we got works to do.
Any last minute questions?
Any last minute questions, guys? Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. We always like the Friday show because we don't really do anything, and I can sit here and be sicky sick, and it's not that big of a deal. I got my scratchy voice. You should have heard me when I woke up this morning. It was real bad. It's pretty bad now, but it was real bad this morning.
Do you ever list in the weird and unusual category? No, I never have. I haven't had anything that weird or unusual that I haven't been able to categorize it before. Yeah. I'll let you know if I ever do.
Interesting. Yes, Sandy, thank you so much for the Skittles. I'm going to continue to eat my Skittles.
They're yummy.
They're delicious. And anyone else out there wants to send us yummy treats, snacks from your area, and you'd like us to review it.
Want to go viral? Throw Vicky in a dumpster. Gee, thanks.
What? I would never do such a thing.
I am too cute to be put in a dirty dumpster.
I would never do such a thing. Never. Anyway, yeah, we got to do some listing because we haven't been able to list a whole lot.
I haven't listed in over a week, so I've gotten 3 things done today so far.
Yeah, I'm getting the rest of I've got a few like vinyl records that I need to get listed, so I'm going through and getting those up. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. We appreciate it, and
everybody have a nice weekend.
Come see us on Sunday. We'll be doing our whole show.
Sunday's my favorite show.
Yeah, it's our favorite show. We've got some really cool stuff that we found when we were out thrifting on Thursday, and especially the stuff that some of the stuff that I scored from Barry. Awesome.
Nice.
Yes. Wonder Witch Lady, real quick. My hand is doing much better. It's all, let's see, it's all closed up. You can see it's still raised. This is still really, really sore tender. It's almost like it's like another blister. But oh, how well you can see that. It's the lighting. But it's much better, and it's totally closed up. So I just have to do a lot of massaging.
Show me your belly. Show your belly so that we can. It's getting better. She still can't really wear pants well, but it's way lighter than it was.
Much better. Yeah, it's much better.
She's not bright purple, and it's a lot smaller.
To the back, but yeah, it's a lot better. It's a lot better, guys. Little show and tell.
Yep.
Anyway, all right, we will see you guys later. Go get some good work done, and yeah,
we'll see you Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.